It's almost like I guess, travel rite of passage nowadays. Yeah, I was away this past weekend and got hit with the travel delays, and you kind of see it coming. I get to the airport plenty of time for my flight, and they stop 20-minute delay. It's almost it's trying to think about it. It's almost kind of like that they're doing it on purpose rather than smacking everybody upside the head. There must be some study out there that says, hey, just keep adding on to the delays is better than just to say it's going to be delayed by 5 hours, whatever it may be. Anyway, yeah, I actually, there are people freaking out at the gate and getting all upset. I went online and I said, okay, what's my alternative if this flight gets canceled? Because that's what happens is they keep delaying. And then they get to a point in time and they say, well, all the crew has, they've got too many hours, so they can't take off again. Anyway, there's sort of app. I forget the name of it. I was using it yesterday. Basically, you can track wherever your plane is that you're going to fly on. And again, I could kind of track if they were being honest. They said, oh, okay, they had to switch planes in New York and it had to come down. And then, yeah, I got home at 3 o'clock in the morning, got an hour's sleep, got back up because I had to do a radio show. Then, yeah, I admit I went back to sleep for a little bit longer. But yeah, it's the reality. And I was actually speaking with some of the managers. It was on JetBlue. And they're like, the reason why JetBlue was, so persistent when it came to the merger with Spirit Airlines and basically bucking the whole Frontier Spirit deal, why they wanted that Spirit so badly. It's pilots, it's staff, and parts. They're telling me, if something goes wrong, there's a mechanical issue and stuff breaks on the plane and they constantly have to repair things, they can't find parts. And it slows everything the hell down, and it's causing part of the problem. There's still some of the supply chain issues, fascinating, that we're dealing with. Again, a lot of these things it was short-term thinking when it came to profits. When it came to, the whole globalization concept, there was never the thought to say, what if this happens? What if that happens? And dealing with some of these issues today, as we all know. Anyway, great story. I've mentioned this portfolio manager before. His name is Mark Spitznagel. Runs this Universa hedge fund. And one of his chief advisors is, kind of a hero of mine, Nicholas Nassim Taleb. And I've read all of his books. The guy's absolutely brilliant. I've talked about it. I highly recommend what he does. It's an interesting philosophy that they run for their fund. But again, this is something, the strategy that they utilize is a strategy you need to have a significant amount of money. This is not something that your average everyday trader advisor could pull off. I understand this. I think actually go back to, some of the calls that I've made over the, in the past. For example, you take a look at the demise of the real estate market. We called it. We warned everybody about it. We told everybody what was going to happen. I don't run a hedge fund. I didn't have, if you saw The Big Short, you understood that the power that these funds have, the types of trades that they could do, the securities that they put together, they had built specifically for them, where you got to pay for these contracts on a regular basis. Completely different world that we're living in. And if it works, man, you're swinging for the fences, you hit a home run. Again, I'm in a bit of a different business than that. That's not something that we do. No, it's something I like to do. You can tinker around to some degree. They have some of these, these funds out, highly leveraged ETFs. For example, this year, obviously, you got the highly leveraged NASDAQ ETF to the downside. That's done well this year, right? Markets are down. You know how far down that fund is from its inception? 90%. So yeah, they're trading vehicles. There's trading vehicles, and they're basically you're betting, thinking that you know what's going to happen next, and also in the immediate future. And that's again, that's something that we're not very good at. It's not. It was funny, even in his article, Mark, in the interview, Mark says, listen, for investors, you do the long-term investing approach. Yeah, you want to call it the Warren Buffett style, the Markowski style, what we've been doing here. I know I don't even like saying it. It's not even my style. It's not even Buffett's style. I mean, this is just common sense type things that go back, and you can find out, it talks about diversification in the Bible, for crying out loud. These are long-term subject, long-term concepts, Benjamin Graham, all of these things. And if you apply them, they work. And interesting, as well as Mark's done in his hedge fund and what he does over at Universa, it's not far off from, again, the strategy for long-term investors doing the right thing, not trying to guess what's going to happen next. Article today, this again in regards to valuations and how the market is made up right now. Again, everyone is they're this next shoe to drop idea that's out there right now. And hey, listen, it does, the arguments have merits. And we talked about this here on the program. This past weekend on the radio show, we talked about being prepared. Be prepared for an S&P at 3,000. Be prepared for it. Am I saying that's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know, nor does anybody else. You got big time analysts out there that, again, they act like politicians. If it goes down to that, well, then you really gotta buy everything. If it's a little bit above that, well, then you buy a lot, but not as much. Again, they talking out of both sides of their mouth. It's how a lot of these analysts out there. It's the way that they triangulate, if you will. That's the old Bill Clinton political triangulation. How they go about putting out the information, so they always look good. But anyway, neither here nor there. I'm upfront and honest with you that I don't know. Do I read everybody's stuff? Do I take a look at feelings? We're prepared for this. You take a look at the markets and you're seeing how they react and what's going on this year. What a god awful market this is, right? This past year, terrible market. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody getting upset. Okay. Here's a news flash, and this is going out to some of you younger investors out there. Be prepared to go through this on many occasions throughout your life, because that's the reality. And the interesting thing about these market sells, whatnot, you have memories of them. And obviously, I'm in it. So many of the things might be a little bit more acute for me than it would be others, but they drift away. They fade to some degree. You see a lot of these analysts and pundits out there bringing up periods of time and trying to compare this situation and soft landings, and could they engineer it like 94, and what about the 70s? All of these things, yes, it's important to pay attention to these things, but you also have to recognize that history does not repeat itself. Things on the ground change. Will things rhyme? Sure they can. Absolutely. But we're in a different period of time. It's a completely different situation. To try to compare them and say, okay, this is what happened then, that meaning that's going to happen here, it's patently absurd. You can't do that. Doesn't work that way. Anyway, talking about how energy and mining are making the stock market look too good right now, based upon their valuations and the type of money that they're making. Compared to some of these other, high-flying growth companies. And again, that other shoe to drop is to say, hey, we're going to have a massive earnings slowdown. And will that be the next thing that hits the market and drives it down another leg lower? Could be. Could be. I think it's going to be more. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to be more of a mixed bag, like what we've been seeing all year. Some companies did okay and planned accordingly. Other ones didn't do so well. I think a surefire sign, seeing what's going to happen moving forward. I'm curious to see what UPS has to say about their delivery, especially after FedEx last week. But again, if you delve into FedEx's numbers, they weren't that bad. I mean, the bad part about it, I think, was just controlling their costs. They had a real tough time doing that. So again, we'll see. We'll see. And things that I don't know what's going to, I mean, will China get to that point? Well, you had the president of the United States, sorry, kind of losing my train of thought. The president of the United States come out yesterday, said COVID pandemic is over. It's not over for China. Maybe it will be soon. Maybe, again, you got a lot going on politically in China going into this fall. Maybe they'll tap out on their zero COVID policy. They're going to have to do something. Because, again, I never believed, I've been saying this for years and years and years and years. I never believed the numbers that come out of China, what the government tells you. Again, I've been alive long enough to understand that totalitarian regimes lie. They just make stuff up. I mean, if the leader doesn't get the information they want from whoever, he'll find somebody that will get him the information and the statistics that they want. So I never buy into any of the nonsense. I mean, countless stories. We talked about the real estate market of China, the issues that they're having there, the amount of waste. Command and control economies, they just don't work. They just don't work. There's too much of a disconnect. Again, when you have people that think that they have control, it's like I say, trying to have control over Mother Nature. Not happening. Not happening. Another Mother Nature story. So, we're at an event. This is a couple weeks ago, and quite frankly, the weather came in, and it didn't. It was supposed to be okay, but we said, oh, you know what? We're going to be in the clear. We're going to be in the clear. We looked at dark sky. Dark sky says it's fine. It's going to be okay. All right. It started pouring. And that's the best website out there. All the information, everything that they're taking, and what there's going to be. You know what? It wasn't. We got dumped on. That's reality. You think you have control over these things. And you don't. The same thing. I try to get this across. Same thing holds true for the economy. It's the beauty of the free market. It's like nature. There's trillions and trillions and trillions of interactions every single day, business being done. You think that there's a computer or an AI out there that can figure this out? No. Can't do it. Anyway, government-fueled inflation is killing retirement. I have to touch on this. I do. I wrote a piece several years ago, it's retirement crisis white paper. And in this retirement crisis white paper, I was told, Chris, you shouldn't put this out. People are not going to want to hear this. And again, it took me back in time to when I first started in the business, where, they're teaching you, more about how to sell people than they were about managing their money properly. And, I get it. When you're in the business of selling $10 pizzas, you're in the business of like Mad Men, right? Tom Draper, you got to come up with the carousel for the slide projector, or some of the things that they came up with. Again, you're playing on people's emotions. You're trying to get people to purchase and do things. My industry, and I've always believed this is a profession, being a doctor, being a lawyer. You have to do the right thing by your clients. You have to be honest with them. And I've always made fun of the myriad of different commercials you'd see on TV being put out by all these brokerage firms. And, oh, yeah, this one with the Vineyard and Napa and all of these 20-year-olds not working, trading on their phone, and they're out mountain biking, and they all got Sub-Zero refrigerators because they're great traders. And I'm like, it always bothered me. And so I did this retirement crisis white paper. This was probably about 8-10 years ago now. I can't remember. And basically laying out, saying, hey, listen, people, inflation is going to be a problem. It's going to be an issue. You have to start rethinking things. And also, obviously, pre-COVID, and talking about demographics and how people were living longer and healthier lives. And you have to prepare for that. Now you get a story today. Financial expert. Government-fueled inflation is killing retirements. Yeah, you're a little late, big guy. Yeah, a little late to this. We've been talking about this for a period of time. The whole idea out there, and Wall Street's always trying to tell you everything is awesome. Life, I mean, come on, let's be honest, people. We live here, and I know I've got people listening all over the globe. Let's say I'll use the United States as an example. You have great opportunity here. There's jobs everywhere. Okay, you take a look at some of the tragedies and things that you see from around the globe, and you know, you something a couple steps back and actually count our blessings. We really do. The situation when it comes to retirement right now is that you might have to do things a little bit differently. The idea that you had in your mind, the plan that you had, like I said, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Things might change, and they have changed. You get what happens? Let me throw this out here. What happens? God willing, what happens if they come up with some of this new technology, mRNA, CRISPR technology? They're able to solve issues when it comes to cancer, like they already have, and unbelievable advances there, but also heart disease, two of the biggest killers in this country. What if that changes the overall mortality rate, where older people are living even longer and healthier lives? We know that the rates have been dragged down. Obviously, COVID's been a part of it, but also drug abuse has been a major part of it as well. But let's say you hit 65, and when you hit 65, and the odds that you're going to live to, let's say, 85 go through the roof because of this. You're going to have to change the way you think here, okay? Unless you're just planning on, and unless you saved a ton and you're extraordinarily wealthy, well, hopefully you've done the right thing. But you're going to have to plan for more time. You don't want to be in a period of time where you're retired, and you don't want to have to stress. You go through your life being stressed, right? We go through our lives being stressed over a myriad of different things, lots of stuff going on. I get that. But you don't want to be in retirement and stressed about living too long, right? It's something that you might not want to think about. And that was my point in my white paper. And I'm gonna do some of it. I'm gonna go over it again this weekend on the show. Weakness is broadening out from low income to middle income consumers. Half of all income in the U.S. is earned by households making more than $100,000 a year. And since most of these households own their own homes and either have no mortgage or have refinanced to rates that are very low, the largest expense for these households is not rising, even as the Fed is hiking, but their wages are. Many of these households represent a large part of national income, saying, guess what? Their inflation is starting to get to them too. And again, ask yourself this question. I know the Fed's meeting this week, and we're going to wait with bated breath. Again, I'm so sick and tired of their nonsense. They're always wrong. I'm so tired of them going back to Alan Greenspan. I mean, Volcker, he did what he needed to do, and obviously he had a certain terrain that was presented in front of him. And I already told you that Jay Powell can't do what Volcker did. Just can't do it. Okay, our country would be defunct. We would. In my opinion, we wouldn't be as bad as Argentina, but it wouldn't be that great either. Can't afford to pay that much in interest. while sending billions of dollars to the Ukraine every other week. You see that Schumer wants to send another $13 billion. Anyway, it would be a major issue. Now, try to get your arms around this. The Fed is going to meet this week. They're going to, 75 basis points, 50 basis points, some are pushing for 100 basis points. I'm going to say it again. It's not going to do much. The winding down the balance sheet is going to happen, but they're limited in what they can do. It's just that simple. And again, how many of you out there, I know I have. There gets to a point in time where you just, I'm in restaurants. I'm being honest here. I love to go out to eat. I love spending time with friends and family. I do. And I'm fortunate. I don't, going out to eat, I don't have to worry about that. It's something that, I like to do. It's one of the, the things I enjoy. I don't enjoy it anymore. I'm being honest. I don't enjoy it anymore because I feel like I'm getting screwed. And that's, I don't want to feel that way. I don't like it. And trust me, I get it. I know the costs of the restaurants are up and all of these various different things. I understand that. But I told my wife, I said, no more. I'm not going out to eat. I said, you want to have people over at the house? Fine. Yeah, I'll go to the fish market. I'll grill up. I don't care. I'm not going out and spending this type of money because it's patently absurd to me. It's insane. It's too much. And I don't like walking out of someplace feeling like I got ripped off. Anybody like the feeling of like you're getting ripped off? And I mentioned here on the program, I'm just coming back from vacation and in Greece and spending like nothing. It's not nothing, but extraordinarily reasonable when it comes to food. And then coming back here and I got to pay what? You're asking what? I went to a pizza place a couple weeks. I think I mentioned this on the podcast. I couldn't believe when I looked at the check. I thought there was a mistake, but there wasn't. Because I don't even look at what things cost. I'm at a nice pizza place. But then I go back and look and said, the personal pizza that I ordered was $28. What? It's pizza. But again, I understand the cost of the restaurant. They got massive, big oven, that they brought in from Naples, and I don't know what it costs. See what the cost of propane is. You see what the cost of natural, all of these things, air conditioning, adding to their cost. They have to put it in somewhere. Again, you're going to see some pullback. You are. Again, I'm starting to see it already. Anyway, again, this is necessary. Told you this was going to happen. More home builders, lower prices as sentiment falls for 9th straight month. It's unbelievable. It's like, sky is blue, water is wet. Now, home builders, there's any other business out there, they want to make as much money as possible. You know how many, oh my God, I'm going back 2005, 2006, 2007, what they were charging for homes down in Florida. And the contractors, all of a sudden, everybody had a contender fishing boat. All these guys, contender fishing boats with, 4 engines on the back, driving around in Ferraris and all this stuff until the thing collapsed on them. And guess what? Oh, back at that point in time, you had 2008, 2009, the type of fishing boat you could have picked up, people trying to unload those things, amongst the other real estate as well. Anyway, even the national home builders, again, they're going to make a house to lose money. We explained this on the program. They're not going to make a house to lose money. And when we had issues, we talked about lumber, we talked about various different things that went into homes. It was raising their costs of doing business. Those costs have come down. Now, again, They came down. They've been coming down for a while, and they were still charging the same amount. Why not? If you're going to get it, people are willing to pay for it. You're going to charge the same amount. Why wouldn't you? That's a business. They're not getting it anymore. They're not getting it anymore, and they're going to have to start lowering the prices. Again, I got a kick out of it. I mentioned this was in Florida in June. Again, I was doing a little recon and looking at some certain areas of real estate. And again, new area, beautiful community, nice community. Still about, car. It's going to take you half an hour, 40 minutes to get to the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm looking at this house and what it involved. Nice house, everything beautiful there. And it's almost $4 million. It wasn't, I think it might have been 4,000 square feet, maybe a little bigger. I mean, it's a good size house, but it wasn't a monstrosity. And I'm laughing and I'm saying, and the guys there, showing you the model and what they're going to do. And I'm like, good luck to you. I mean, again, hey, if you can find a buyer for it, God bless. I mean, that's what the free market is, right? If you sell someone's willing to buy it, that's what it's worth at that point in time. Okay. My thing is you can choose not to participate. And throughout this run up in housing over the past couple of years post-COVID, I warned people. I said, listen, okay, don't buy into I have to have it right now. I have to have it. Don't overextend it. Now, again, if you could get something, you found something and you had the low, obviously right now, you're able to borrow money at low rates. Okay, but it needs to make sense. Needs to make sense. You can't get pressured into purchases like that, the size of homes. Anyway, so again, home builders, prices starting to come down. Deflationary. Good thing. Yeah, well, again, we told you electric bills soar across the country as winter looms. Rising natural gas prices expected to make it more expensive to light and heat homes in the coming months. Yep. Doesn't matter. Oil doesn't mean natural gas. Propane doesn't matter. Everything. I filled my propane tank, got the bill. I was like, and in the propane, the only thing I use it for is, if I generator, which, we get storms here, and my grill in the back and my pool heater, which I never turn on. Filled that up just in case there's a major storm. Want to make sure that you have the generators able to work. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And again, people having to pay these bills and they're saying, well, you know what? I'm going to have to make adjustments elsewhere. That's the reality situation. That's why the oil and gas companies are doing so well at this point in time. Again, all self-inflicted BS. And again, these are input costs for every business that's out there. Every business out there needs to turn on the lights, needs to put on the air conditioner, needs to put on the heater, all that good stuff. Okay. Can't escape it. No way around. No alternative out there, is there? It's interesting. Canary and a tax miner calling it. California sees 11% drop in revenue. This is tax revenue. I'm looking into this 11% drop personal income tax revenue. Again, that might have also a lot to do with people moving out of the state. And again, also might be the fact that, gee whiz, people aren't making as much money. They're running into issues. California does have a budget surplus. I think, what is it, about $100 billion? But you want the major issue? Okay, that's nice. They have 1.5, just get your arms on $1.5 trillion in unfunded local and state pension liabilities. Think about that for a second. I always get a kick. I always bring on CNBC. They bring out the manager from CalPERS, right? The big California pension fund out there. And it's like you roll out one incompetent boob after another. I mean, I know it's a cushy job and all, and you're probably getting paid well. But if I was appointed with this, I'd go off on a rant. I said, what do you want me to, how am I going to make up for this? How am I going to make up for this shortfall? Again, $1.5 trillion. My guess is this: we live in a world of it's the new world of personal irresponsibility, the irresponsible nation. It's okay to be irresponsible. Somebody will come bail you out, whether it be Illinois, New York, California. Things start falling apart and they can't make liabilities. They're going to come hat in hand to the federal government and, oh my God, you can't do that. It's going to be terrible for time. We got to take care. And the government will bail it out. Nobody learns a damn thing. Anyway, let's call it a day. I got a ton of stuff we're going to go over. I got, some of these stories are going to be utilized for tomorrow as well. Have a great day, everybody. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. We'll see you.